Hi everyone, this is Charmander, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the early images of the two new heroes coming up in the upcoming Infantry Top Commander. So the two new heroes are Stella and Bodala. First impression is both their design is amazing. They look absolutely badass. Now, I'm gonna warn everyone here that some of the images I'm about to show you, because they are the early images, are gonna be a little bit blurry, but I'll do my best to kind of share with you my thoughts on each of these heroes, their abilities, and who they would be best paired up with within the other heroes in this game. Let's start off with Stella, and her first skill is called It's Showtime. And for this skill, it deals damage to the enemy target with a damage factor of up to 13,500 and increases own counter damage by up to 22.5% for 3 seconds. If rallying, counter damage increases to up to 29%. So as you can see, Infantry has badly needed a siege hero, and now you got it with Stella. And this first skill here is already really strong, not just with the direct damage, but also the counter damage that you're dishing out to the enemies. Her second skill is called Combat Stance, and it's a passive skill that increases the attack of the infantry squad by 10%. Counter attacks have a 30% chance to grant 1 stack of War Will to self up to 2 stacks per second. This effect stacks up to 10 times. Each stack of War Will reduces the base damage taken by 1%. And it looks like there is also an increase in infantry attack by up to 32% and damage reduction received from basic attacks by up to 3%. So at first glance, this actually looks like a counter to Chasey, because Chasey is all about basic attacks, and this looks like it reduces the basic attacks dealt to her by Chasey when you siege Chasey specifically. Not to mention the infantry attack increase is also a big improvement in terms of countering Chasey. Her third skill is called Concert Tour, and when outside Alliance territory, increases infantry HP by up to 26% and counter damage by up to 24%. So the first thing that I was thinking when I saw this is actually she is the perfect pairing with Eddie, because Eddie has a counter damage when leading only infantry squads by up to 44%. So this will stack with her 24%, making her counter damage effectively 68%, which is ridiculous. That is so gross. She would also be a great pair with Riven, actually, because if you look at Riven's 4th scale Mighty Bear, it also has counter damage by up to 27%. So basically, if you have her with Riven, she will be more tanky. If you have her with Eddie, there will be more counter damage. So both are amazing pairs with Stella. Her 4th skill is called Final Performance, which is a passive skill. When having 10 or more War Will stacks, clears all War Will stacks and deals damage to the enemy target with a damage factor of up to 11,200. So this is really ridiculous because she already deals a lot of damage and she's going to deal even more damage. When own squad size is less than 50%, the damage increases by an additional 20%. So again, this makes her quite a strong siege hero as a result of this 4th skill. Although I'm not quite sure what War Will is yet, so it's too early to tell, but definitely an interesting turn of event with this new hero. Last but not least, we have her Awakened skill, which is called Encore, and it's a new skill and it's a passive skill that increases counter damage by 21%. When War Will stacks are cleared, has a 20% chance to immediately gain 2 War Will stacks again. And the only thing I'm thinking about when I see this is if you pair her with Eddie, your counter damage is essentially 89%, which is just ridiculous. I don't have anything to say. She's definitely way too overpowered. And to make things even worse, Stella has a super weapon called Blinding Star, which is a passive skill with counter attacks that have up to 50% chance to grant up to 8 rage and increase the infantry squad attack by up to 21% for 3 seconds. This effect can only be triggered once per second. So as you can see, Stella is beyond overpowered, and hopefully they make some changes in the future to counter her because she is just way too ridiculously strong at this point. Next, we're gonna investigate Bodala's skill, and his first skill is called Gaining Enlightenment, which is a rage skill that gains a shield for 3 seconds with a shield factor of up to 10,800. When Bodala's shield vanishes, deals the remaining 50% shield value as damage to up to 2 nearby enemies. So my first thought is this is a ridiculous amount of shield and definitely would make Bodala an amazing pair pair with someone like Riven, because if you look at Riven's skills, Riven's fourth skill called Mighty Bear adds up to 30% bonus to obtain shield. So this is 30% on top of this 10,800 shield that Bodala can already get, making him the perfect pair with Riven. Another amazing pair with Bodala would actually be Bianca. And the reason is because Bianca is oftentimes targeted in the field because she gives way too much powerful buffs to the team. So with Bodala, it's going to be hard to kill her because he has so much defensive abilities. Bodala would also make a good pair with a Dot because it's going to keep a Dot alive for a long time. And you know, with a Dot, the longer she stays in battle, the stronger she becomes. Bodala's second skill is called 6 Faculties Purification. And this is a passive skill when not garrison, increases infantry squad defense by up to 32% and HP by up to 11%. So just by judging with this skill itself, Bodala is not meant for garrison, but actually for field battles. His third skill is called Karma Cutting, which is a passive skill with counterattacks removing up to 9 rage from the enemy and have a 20% chance to deal additional damage to the enemy with a damage factor of up to 1,960. So I don't have any opinion of this at this time. It looks kind of just okay, but we'll see as the time goes. His fourth skill is called Ephemeral Body and Mind, and it's a passive skill that increases a squad attack by up to 34%, and while shield is active, reduces damage taken by up to 6.5%. So again, this is an amazing skill that he possesses, making him great for field. Now, when you awaken Bodala, he gets a skill called Boundless Dharma, which enhances gaining enlightenment. So after awakening it, you gain a shield for 3 seconds with a shield factor now upgraded to 12,500, which is ridiculous. When Bodala's shield vanishes, deals the remaining 50% shield value as a damage to 3 nearby enemies. So that last part is just kind of average because I don't think that's gonna actually fire. I think his shield's gonna be gone before he gets a chance to fire it. But definitely Bodala's gonna be hard to kill. Now, my final thought with this 2 hero is that Stella is going to be a top commander hero while Bodala is going to be a lucky roulette hero. And both these heroes already look amazingly promising, especially Stella, who is way overpowered just looking at her stats. That's about it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.